Ever wondered how to paint your house like a pro? Well, wonder no more. Welcome to the ultimate guide that will empower you to transform your living space with just a splash of color. Imagine the satisfaction of standing back, brush in hand, admiring a wall that you've just painted. It's not just about saving money on professional painters, but also about the sheer joy of creating something with your own hands. We're here to make this journey as simple and enjoyable as possible. This tutorial is beginner-friendly, so don't worry if you've never held a paintbrush before. We'll guide you through the entire process from gathering your materials, preparing your workspace, priming your walls, getting the first coat of paint on, and finally cleaning up. So whether you're looking to freshen up a room or give your entire house a new look, we've got you covered. Get ready to roll up your sleeves and dip your brushes because we're about to get this painting party started. Before we start, gather your painting arsenal. To paint a house like a pro, you need the right tools. Let's break it down, shall we? First things first, paint. Without a doubt, paint is the star of the show. The type and color of paint you choose will set the mood for your space. Not forgetting, you'll need primer too. Primer helps the paint adhere to the wall, making your paint job last longer. Next, brushes and rollers. Brushes are great for detailed work and getting into those tight corners. On the other hand, rollers are perfect for covering large surfaces quickly. And remember, quality matters. A good quality brush or roller can make a world of difference to your paint job. Then, we have the painter's tape. Ever wondered how professionals get those sharp, clean lines? Well, painter's tape is their secret weapon. It helps protect areas that you don't want to be painted, like window frames or baseboards. Drop cloths, my friends, are your first line of defense against paint splatters. Trust me, you don't want to spend hours scrubbing paint off your floors or furniture. So lay those drop cloths down and save yourself a ton of cleanup time. Of course, unless you're 7 feet tall, you're going to need a ladder. It helps you reach those high places and ensures you paint evenly from top to bottom. Safety first though, make sure your ladder is sturdy and you're comfortable using it. Last but not least, don't forget your paint tray and stirring stick. The tray holds your paint while you work, and the stick helps mix the paint to an even consistency. And there you have it, a rundown of the essential tools you need to paint a house. Each one plays a crucial role in ensuring your paint job is smooth, even, and professional looking. Now that we have everything we need, it's time to prep our workspace. A great paint job starts with a well-prepared workspace. Now you might be thinking, I've got my paint, I've got my brushes, let's get this show on the road. But hold your horses, we're not quite there yet. Preparing the workspace is like setting the stage for a Broadway show. It's crucial, and it's what we're diving into right now. First things first, we need to clear the area. This means moving out all the furniture, the knickknacks, the plants, and anything else that's not nailed down. It's like moving day, but without the truck. The idea here is to provide a clean and clear canvas for our painting masterpiece. Next up, we've got some items that are either too big to move or too stubborn to budge. For these, we're going to cover them up. You can use old bed sheets, tarpaulins, or special painter's plastic. Just make sure they are secure and won't flutter away with a slight breeze. Now let's talk about taping. Taping off areas not to be painted is like drawing the lines on a coloring book. It keeps the colors where we want them and prevents them from sneaking into places they're not supposed to be. Use a quality painter's tape to secure the borders around windows, doors, and trim. Take your time with this step. It can be a little tedious, but trust me, it's worth it. Lastly, we're going to lay down drop cloths. These are our safety nets, catching any stray splatters or spills. They protect our floors and keep them paint-free. Secure them with tape so they don't shift around while you're working. So, there you have it. We've cleared, we've covered, we've taped, and we've laid down our drop cloths. Our workspace is now a blank canvas, ready for the magic of paint to bring it to life. Remember, a great paint job is all in the preparation. So, with everything set, it's time to prime our walls for painting. Priming is the secret to a long-lasting and vibrant paint job. But what does priming actually do? Well, it's all about creating a perfect canvas for your paint. Primers are specially formulated to stick to surfaces and form a bond that helps paint adhere better. They also help to even out the wall's texture and color, ensuring a smooth and uniform finish. Now, how do we apply primer? The process is much like painting. Start at the top of the wall and work your way down. Use a brush for the corners and edges and a roller for the larger areas. Ensure you cover the entire wall evenly, avoiding drips and runs. Some of you may be tempted to rush this stage, but remember, patience is key. Applying too much primer at once can lead to an uneven finish, and nobody wants that. it's better to apply a few thin coats than one thick one. This way, you'll end up with a smooth, even surface that's ready for paint. After applying the primer, we need to let it dry. This is another stage where patience pays off. Most primers will need at least a few hours to dry, but it's always best to check the manufacturer's instructions. Some primers may even recommend a full 24 hours of drying time. Now that our walls are primed and ready, let's bring on the color. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, painting. So, let's talk about the proper technique for painting walls. It's not just about slapping some paint on a brush and hoping for the best. Oh no, painting is an art, even when it's your living room wall. First things first, loading the brush. You might think dipping the entire brush into the paint is the way to go, but that's a rookie mistake. Instead, dip only a third of the brush into the paint. This way, you'll have enough paint to cover the area without making a mess. Next, let's talk about applying the paint. Start at the top of the wall and work your way down. This method ensures any drips will be covered as you continue painting. And remember, it's not about the pressure you apply, it's about the direction. Always maintain a consistent stroke, usually up and down, to avoid visible brush marks. Now, onto the number of coats. One might seem enough, but trust me, it's not. 2 coats of paint will give your wall a richer, more even color. But here's the catch. You can't just apply the second coat right after the first. The paint needs to dry completely before you go in for round 2. So, patience is key here. You might be wondering, how do I know when the paint is dry? Well, it's simple. Touch it. If it feels dry to the touch and doesn't leave a mark, you're good to go. But remember, it might seem dry on the surface, but underneath, it could still be wet, so give it a few hours at least. And what about those hard-to-reach corners and edges? Well, a smaller brush is your best friend here. It allows for precision and makes sure every inch of your wall looks as good as the rest. Painting your walls is not just about changing the color. It's about transforming your space, making it feel new and fresh. It's about putting a part of yourself into your home. And that's the beauty of it. So take your time, enjoy the process, make every stroke count. And before you know it, you'll be standing back, admiring your work and thinking, wow, I did that. And just like that, we've transformed our living space with a fresh coat of paint. Once the final coat dries, the work isn't over just yet. It's time to roll up our sleeves for the cleanup process. It's important to care for your painting tools. Brushes and rollers should be cleaned with warm, soapy water, then rinsed and left to dry before storing. This keeps them in good condition for future painting projects. As for leftover paint, it cannot simply be tossed in the trash. Check with your local waste management facility for guidelines on how to properly dispose of it. In many places, you can donate unused paint to local schools, community centers, or other organizations in need. Lastly, when it comes to removing the painter's tape, take it slow. Rushing could result in chipped paint or rough edges. Gently peel the tape back on itself at a 45-degree angle for the best results. And there you have it, a step-by-step guide to painting your house like a pro. Now, it's your turn to grab a brush and make a splash.